Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 6, 2023 at approximately 4:34 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the ones that I personally live my life by. With this in mind, today we're going to take a look at, we were asked to take a look at something that's very annoying to most of us. Some of you may actually enjoy this sort of thing, but it's scam emails. Now, before I get into it, we have Steve coming in with the gold. Steve, how you doing? I hope your day's been going well. And I'm going to try and get something up and running here. Talk about running late today. But, here we are. Now we just turn that off. Blow that up, and now I can actually see what's being written. And Emmy, you are in with the silver. Now, I take a look at this, and the reality is email is most people's method of communication as of late. And who do we got? We have Adam has pulled in with the bronze. The funny thing about it from my end is this. When I take a look at email, now I am still very much a dinosaur in a lot of ways. And not least of which is my organizational capacity seems to be a little bit compromised today. So I'm just going to have to work around it. But, now we are going to get those scam emails, but here's why I was held up today. This particular little book, and of course, I don't have the current. Oh, there it is. That's why. Okay. That was the first one. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay. Tiny little book. Really valuable. This is literally the backbone of how I turn my life around. Then we take a look at this one, which is Believe in your business and follow your dreams. The backbone of how I started putting my business in order. That's just a new cover. Now, the important thing that I got tied up with today was quite literally, I got tied up tying off the next book in that series called Believe in Your Finances. And again, we are talking about the same methods that I take a look at. The reason I point in that I use to keep my finances in order. Now, to put that in perspective, when I talk about potential scam emails, I cannot tell you the number of times I just lost count is really what it boils down to. This funny little thing here. Sure, you guys recognize this, also known as a cell phone. Now, scam emails, scam calls have been going, scam calls have been going on long before the computer came into play. Okay, scam artists used to be known as con men. Quite frankly, they still are. And let's see, we have we have Nathan popping in with honorable mention. And Nathan, with that in mind, let us come down here. We take a look at Nathan, the Quantum Show. This, folks, is literally the link to Nathan's show. Okay, and I will tell you, I've been on his show. I've had the pleasure of joining him on air a couple of times. Okay, so if you have a chance, drop in and listen to his show. If you like what he says, if he piques your interest, give him a thumbs up, and absolutely subscribe to the channel, to his channel. He's got some really neat ideas. We've had some interesting conversations. About some really twisted topics. Well, twisted as in, kind of weird. But, as you can see, and Nathan, Hope you don't mind. I actually have the. And if you ever change this, for pity's sakes, let me know so we can guide people properly. But you'll notice right after the link, it tells you what time to get to Nathan's show. Oh, nice. Nathan's just going. He's got a quantum short being done soon. Now, is that so short that we can't see it, or is it just short comparatively? But that said, when we look at scam emails and what have you, the reason I showed you this silly thing is because of this. With this, okay, I'm really happy with caller ID that's come out, because so many times I end up with caller ID coming out, with a call coming in, it says no ID. There is no way I can count the number of times I've had somebody phone me up, and they'll phone up and they'll go, "You've got a problem, there's a problem with your package at customs." Now, I don't know about you guys, but here's the thing. If there is a problem with a package you've ordered from customs, you're not going to get a phone call that says, we've got a problem with a package yours at customs. I had a package from with a problem at customs. Okay, and I'll tell you the way they do that. The customs people don't phone you up and go, "Oh, we've got a problem with with an order." Okay, what they will do is they phone you up and they'll go, "Is this so-and-so?" asking for you by name. Okay, then they will verify and they will tell you what your address is. Okay, once they've done that, then they will go into what the problem is. And it certainly isn't going to be, "We've got a problem." If you're the cause of the problem, the cops are going to show up in your door. They are not going to phone you and say, "Hey, the cops are on the way." Okay, but in my case, when they did phone, when the actual custom border phoned, what they did was they said, "Look, we know you're not the problem. We know you couldn't have known what was going on because you're not from the same country." But he says, the sad reality is what you've ordered is in the States classified as an endangered species, and you cannot buy it. Therefore, unfortunately, your money is gone, but you're not in trouble. Okay. He says the people that sold it to you, we're heading for their doorstep now. If somebody, and this is just one of the scams that comes out. You've got a problem at customs. Okay. Or maybe you've gotten the call, there are questionable calls on your credit card. Okay. But they will not say, "This is the Visa Fraud Department." They will ask for you by name and then tell you what your card number is and go, and they will say, "This is the card. Is this your card number?" Okay. And again, I've had friends that have had actual calls from the fraud department, and they don't start off with this idea that that there's been a charge to your card. Of course, I like the ones that phone me up and they turn around and go, "Oh, this is the Visa Fraud Department," which is a fantastic idea, except I've got a MasterCard. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, Adam, that again, Adam's just saying he had to put call control on his phone because he kept getting calls at all hours of the day and night from foreign countries that would hang up immediately. So I mean, when you're taking a look at that, and these are annoyances that virtually everybody faces. I am just looking for something that I would really like to have. I don't have it, so I'm going to have to wait for that. But when we are dealing with scam calls, understand if it is a legitimate company calling you, they will identify themselves first. Okay. From my standpoint, they don't set up an automated caller to phone a whole pile of people in the hopes of finding you. The second it's an automated call, I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, it's a scam. Okay. I cannot tell you how many times people have phoned up and said, here's a problem. Here's a generic problem. If you want more information, hit this number. Do not respond to the number. Okay. Now, I'm talking about phone calls. I'll get to the emails in just half a second here. Shadow, how we doing? Glad you could join us. And with Shadow in the house here, where are we? And we go copy that. And this is the link to Shadow's web YouTube channel. And again, drop by, give him a listen. If you like what he's talking about, absolutely give him a thumbs up. Okay, do give him a thumbs up and do subscribe to his channel. Okay, because I'll tell you, he's got some, and again, I've listened to a number of his shows. He and his son do some phenomenal work with the little figures. Myself, nowhere near that. Okay, because the figure painting I do is much more of a time killer hobby, if you will, than a strong endeavor. Me, on the other hand, where I put the effort, where I put a lot of the strength and a lot of my concentration, is on writing, which is why I contacted my printer today. Okay, and my printer, okay, they're putting out the next one of the I Have Believe in Your series. Okay, this one being Believe in Your Finances. Emmy's gone. I got a call about car insurance, and I replied, that's funny. I don't own a car. And they hung up fast, and I blocked the number. Yeah, the sad part is, I'm still getting emails from an Audi company down in Kentucky, I think. I have to go back and look. I actually phoned them up and told them, look, you got the wrong person. I'm still getting emails from them, thanking me for my business with them, which is a really wonderful idea, considering I drive a Mitsubishi, not an Audi. Oh, great! That will be really appreciated, there, Shadow. I do look forward to that. We just have to schedule it. That's all. I've got a situation going on Friday. A friend of mine is coming down to help me get EI sorted out. Because I'll tell you, I've run into all kinds of problems. Many times with emails, with phone calls. But I'm telling you, do not, one thing that is very important, if you do end up on the line with somebody, here's a neat little trick for you. As soon as I find what I'm looking for, that. Here's a neat little trick for you. And this is really useful because it'll help a lot. Now, as you can well imagine, this is not a credit card. Okay, but it does provide the option of being able to hang on to it. To be honest, this is an Optimum card, which is simply a points card. But if you end up on a phone and you're one of these people that figures, oh, I can't hang up, I've got to talk to them, and they ask you for your credit card number, make absolutely certain. Certainly, you can absolutely pick up the card, look at it, make sure you're reading it right, but transpose at least 2 of the numbers. Okay, and then hang up the phone. Because I will tell you, The reality behind it is you give people access to your computer or access to your, to your credit card. There are people that will yank on it right off the bat. Well, I appreciate that, Shadow. Of course, the important question there is, do you actually have my physical mailing address? I should probably give you that just on principle, because I don't think you... Do you actually have my physical mailing address? You might. That depends. Okay. Now, where are we? If it's going there, I'll have to have it here anyway. Now, here's the neat part. People say, "Oh, don't put your address out on the don't put your address out on the net because people can use that against you." Before Donald Trump became president of the U.S., Donald Trump had a complete dossier on me. Okay, and the CIA showed up on my doorstep looking for me by name regarding my information on UFOs. I don't worry about if people know where I live. Hopefully, if somebody's going to start World War III and my address out there, somebody can drop a nuke on my apartment. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that'll die in that event, but I don't feel like picking up the mess again. Oh, for those of you that are worried about me doing this, okay, in all fairness, nobody comes to my door. I've got a delivery box out front that things get put in, so that works out well. Just trying to type this in while I'm actually keeping my brain working. And that will not work. Here we are. Didn't do that there. Okay. There you go, Shadow. That solves that problem. And yes, like I said, is that my actual mailing address? You bet it is. Nice part about it is we've actually got a postal delivery box in the lobby of my apartment block, which means I don't have to deal with it. So do I worry about things? No, not a whole lot. But that will solve a whole lot of problem. And who do we got here that I missed? Angels, how you doing? And Angels, I do believe I have not seen you in here for a while. So where are we? That's not what I wanted. Here we are. And this is Angel's YouTube channel. And like I said, my opinion is real simple. Here we go. My opinion is really, really simple. Okay. Now, what I've just posted there is Angels Are Life, her YouTube channel. And again, drop by and listen to what she has to say. If you like what she's saying, give her a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let's share the daylights out of these channels, because I'm telling you, there's enough negative information out of you. All three of the channels I've just posted, okay, all three of them focus on the positive things in life and the entertainment side of it, not who embarrassed who ripped who off. Okay, we require, as a society, we require more of this kind of interaction. iVoices. Let me show you something. Okay. Because there are ways to become immortal, but probably not the way you're thinking. Okay? Here's one of the easiest ways. My personal opinion on immortality is this. As long as people remember you, you're immortal. Okay. Now, there is another way of looking at that, but it requires you believing that past lives are real. Okay. Now, you're more than welcome there, angels. Here's how I ended up becoming immortal, essentially. See this funny little name here? That is now in print all over the world. Okay. That has me immortalized. Okay. Now, I'm immortal in a lot more ways, but if somebody tells you they can show you how to be immortal, okay, the odds are the first thing you've got to ask is if they believe in past lives. Because I will tell you, your physical body absolutely is mortal. It will break down, it will die. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. World, how we doing? Oh, aren't those absolutely annoying there, world? So let's get world some positive people that aren't annoying little trolls. Okay, this is the link to World Bigfoot's to where are we? World Bigfoot Radio. This is his channel, and again, like the other ones, if you drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he's talking about, absolutely give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Okay, we really have to start spreading the positive messages around and positive interaction. You know, the sad part is, world, yesterday or the day before, I had one in here, and I forget what the guy's name was. Okay, but he came in and he was posting links. I asked him not to. At least one of the moderators in here asked him to stop posting them. And we had another individual turn around and tell him to change his name. You know, so the name wasn't there, so the link wasn't listed. Now, long and the short of it was I had to hide his message. And somewhere down the road, I may well unblock it, but for the moment, I'm just going to leave it sit for a while. You know, the reality is when we start looking at scam emails, in my opinion, what I've learned are trolls. Now, my idea of a troll is a real simple thing. Okay? Really big, really nasty, and regenerates like there is no tomorrow. It wasn't until I started running my own channel here that I found out what a internet troll was. Okay, and this one the other night was the first one I had to absolutely, that I actually had to hide. Lily Pond, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day's been going well. Now, when we're looking at scam emails, okay, first rule of thumb, okay, anytime you get an email, if you don't know the person sending it, do not hit the link. Okay, doesn't matter what the link is. I've had emails from Yahoo going, "Oh, we're discontinuing all former email, email servers. So you've got to hit this link to make sure your email doesn't go belly up." I'm telling you, YouTube isn't going to shut down the old servers. Okay, they will find a way. Can you picture the chaos that would ensue if they closed down, X version of their YouTube, of their Yahoo email? If they were just blanket shut it all down, do you realize the chaos that would cause? Well, I am very glad that you're prepared to change the way that's going, Lily. See, my brother, decades back, my brother has subsequently passed away, by the way. He found a phenomenal solution to people that make viruses. Okay, his computer would get a virus, and his scanner, bear in mind, he was an absolute computer genius. Okay, his virus scanner would catch the virus, disassemble it, and then track the virus down to the computer or computers that the virus was built on. In this fashion, he would then burn the motherboard off of the offending emails, off the offending computers. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there, World. And many times, because I get so much garbage, I've quit subscribing to a lot of email awareness things. And because, frankly, I get 30, 40, 50, sometimes as many as 100 emails. Okay, now that's over a weekend. So I've stopped getting them early. I was talking to somebody the other day. They get flooded by these useless emails. Okay, and the problem there is it takes up a lot of your time. Now, if you're running a business, and do understand, if you've got a YouTube channel, okay, and you're getting all of these emails coming in, I'm telling you, it takes a lot of time to sort through them. So many times I just blanket wipe out chunks of emails. And I know that means I lose some of the content and some of the contacts I'd like to have. Okay. But it's time to get serious about making this a better world. Okay. And what I mean by that is if you know somebody is doing something, and it's kind of like people stealing Facebook and book accounts. Okay. If you know somebody's doing this, be absolutely certain to let other people know this is a problem. Okay. Where it comes to email scam, first rule of thumb, if you don't know who the email is coming from, do not hit the hot link. If you're talking to somebody on the phone, do not answer, do not hit the button to connect you. Okay. Ask them. If they don't provide you with a number to call back, you don't bother. Okay. And that's just the reality of it is this. The moment you hit a hot link or you hit a button on the phone to connect to an automated system, you're giving people access to your phone, to your computer, this sort of thing. Now, by no means am I a technological genius. Heck, I tried using email, like the internet, to report my earnings for EI. Okay. I couldn't work my way through the government site. I am not what we call a computer genius. It's kind of like this funny thing here. That is my email, and this is my password database and many of my phone numbers. I don't rely on electronics because what happens if you have a power outage? What happens if you have a power surge? Okay, the biggest warning I can give you is do not hit a link on an email. If you don't know the sender of the email, do not hit the link. Okay, it's just that simple. The moment you hit the link, okay, it's going to be a problem. Now, I will tell you, there is a pretty big problem running right now, and that is that so many companies do not have a way of you actually talking to them in person. And I'm telling you, that is one of these things that even as my company grows, I'm not going to turn to an answering system. It will simply be, I will answer the phone between this time and this time. And, if I'm not available for the phone call, you're not getting through. Okay. Now, will I eventually pay attention to my answering system? Yeah, probably at some point. Right now, I just don't get to it often. And this is why it's really the one thing you can do where it comes to me personally. If you're trying to get a hold of me and you are trying to phone, best move in the world. Text first. Okay. But if you're going to text, because if your number shows up as unknown, it's a 50-50 shot whether I'm going to pick up the phone. I do quite often pick it up now, but I will tell you, if the phone call comes in and says, you're being, please wait, you're being connected, I'm hanging up. I just don't have that long. I just don't give people that much room. But the biggest and the most important piece of advice I can give you at this point, with email, never, ever, ever hit a link that you don't know exactly who is sending you that link for. Okay. Because I will tell you, you're asking for a problem. I had somebody send me an email saying that they had detected problems on my computer, and that they had detected problems on my computer, and I had to contact them right away, or it was going to be shut down. Bigfoot, how you doing? And Bigfoot Rob is in the house, and again, and here we are. This is the link to Bigfoot's YouTube channel. And yes, I know I repeat myself a lot. Kind of a habit I got into a while back. But hit his link. Take a look at his channel. If you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up and subscribe to his channel. The nice part about it, like what I'm finding with this particular channel, is the people in here are really, really supportive. I would love to see this be the start of an absolute pandemic. I would love to see this kind of community support become a pandemic. Simply put, with people reaching out to each other, supporting each other, helping each other, this is the critical thing we've got to start doing. Now I'm working on a couple of projects. I did with believe in your finances and follow your dreams. It is now completely written. I'm just in the process of putting the tail end of the stuff into it, as far as organizing it, and then I send it off to my printer. I'll already talked to her. She's going to resize it, and then we're good to go. Well, that's what I'm thinking, Nathan. If we start now, it's still, we are talking about billions of people. And where is my brain box? Right there. Yeah, old term. I've got, where is it? I've got a cell phone. I've got a computer. I still prefer the solar powered calculator. That's 3, 4. Now, here's the thing. If we each, if each one of you simply does one thing nice a month, and the next person, the person you've helped, helps one person or passes on a piece of good news. Each one, if you're just talking about everybody doing one a month, each one of you in the course of a year, just doing one good thing a month, means what we're looking at. Beachy, how you doing? Didn't see you coming in, but glad you could join us. Welcome to the family. If each one of you just does one nice thing a month, for one person, and everybody continues on, every one of you will be generating a flow that helps. In 1 year, you will cause a wave adding up to approximately 65,000 people being helped. Now, that is assuming that all we've got is people doing one nice thing. Okay. Very important from my standpoint. And this is why I say, am I pushing now to turn this into something a little bit bigger? Absolutely. Now, let me see here. Move that out of the way. Get that out of the way so I can actually see what I'm working with. What's that? Oh, that was why I wrote to get that out of my way. Okay. Now, tomorrow is Wednesday. And I'll pop this into your guys' lap right away here. Okay. We require a topic for tomorrow night. Okay, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm doing my best to remain on track. Now, I decided I was just going to look at it and go, okay, what do you guys want to tangle with next or tomorrow? That came out really well. Almost have to slap myself in the back of the head on occasion just to stop myself from stuttering, which, by the way, is why I don't do audiobooks. I will be getting those done, though. The nice little part, you see, the other thing I've told people before, I am actively striving when I am out and about. I'm actively striving to start another pandemic. Okay, and here's the pandemic. Smile. Okay, whenever you see somebody, smile at them. Whether you feel like it or not doesn't matter. Okay, that simple smile can be all the difference it takes for somebody to have a better day. Okay, when I get an email in that I look at and I don't recognize it, it's like, no, I don't require that anymore. And the one thing is, do not hit any hot link that they provide you. Just don't. Okay. Now, of course, because of the fact, and I've got nothing against them. There's a lot of porn sites out there. I've got nothing against it. Okay. The human body is a beautiful thing. I just don't go to those sites. Okay. I don't see the point in going to those sites for me personally. If that's your thing, be my guest. Okay. But I will tell you, there are a staggering amount more viruses in every sense of the word that you'll get through those sites or scam artists coming through those, okay, than there are on actual business sites. Okay, that's just the way that works. Okay, and I take a look at this, and I've mentioned this before. I missed the SOR party this year, but I'm already planning for it for next year. I just don't know when it's going to be yet, but I do know I'm going to do everything I can to actually get there. And that's a big step considering the fact I don't leave my house very much. Like today is Tuesday, I didn't leave the house at all. I don't think I even opened my front door into the hallway. But I will tell you this. When we are dealing with the internet now, okay, you've got to remember. Welcome aboard, LA. Glad you could join us. And that's pretty much the way I look at it. Quite often I'll look at an email and go, I don't know who that is, so they can go away. And I tell you, the one type of email that does annoy me, and actually comes from Facebook. Here's a suggested friend. Sorry, because it'll come up and go, here's a suggested friend. And I understand what they're trying to do, but the reality is half the time that they put a suggested friend out, I already have them listed as a friend. But the changes that are taking place in the world of the internet are happening so fast, people are not able to keep up with it. Something you got to remember. Okay, I found this out decades ago. When a new computer comes out, it's already 6 months out of date. Okay, it's already 6 months obsolete. Okay, this is so when you're looking at buying a new computer, Keep that in mind. You're never going to have coming off the market a brand spanking new state of the art. You're never going to have it. You'll have newer than what you have, but it won't be state of the art. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. Terry, how you doing? Glad you could join us today. I'm really looking forward to when the room is just lined up. I wasn't, in all fairness, when I first got into this, I kind of went into live streaming. It's sort of being by fighting every step of the way, as I got asked by so many people to get online. Okay, so here I am. Now I'm looking at it going, okay, it's time to take this and really do something proactive with it. Really get people excited about their own tasks. Now, I dropped you guys a task yesterday, okay, about something about picking a task and making it happening. Okay, about really turning things around and achieving one of your goals. One of mine was the one that I've been working on is getting Believe in Your Finances back into print and out available to the public. Okay, well, I've now contacted my printer. She's going to resize it for me to make sure it's the right size. And she's doing the artwork for the front cover, so that works out well. For a minute there, Terry, I thought that said my husband, brother. But this is what I get for looking at something out the side sometimes. The nice little part that we have to look at here is right now we have the opportunity to change the world as you know it, to really set things in motion to make this world a better world for virtually everybody. And I'll tell you the quickest thing with these scam emails that are coming up, remember, if they're legit and if they're talking about, for instance, a problem with your email, or not with your email, if you get an email that says there's a problem with your account, with your credit card account, do not hit the hot link. Contact them, go directly to the site. Okay, and this said, be sure that you know what the actual business site is for any online work that you're planning on doing. Okay, so that you have a record of where it is, what it is, and how to get to it. If there is a problem, go to the site itself, not via a hot link. Grab a new window and go to the new site. Okay, very important, because what we're striving to do here is help you avoid problems that I personally have run into myself. Experience is the best teacher. There's no question there. But I'm telling you, just take it for granted. I've had heart attacks. I've had a stroke. Don't experience it yourself. Okay, just don't. It's a wonderful experience. It gives you a different look on life, but it is no fun. So when you're looking at emails, and LA pointed out a little bit ago, if she doesn't recognize the email, she doesn't answer it. Period. Okay. My problem is I've got a couple of phone calls I have to make that I keep postponing because I don't personally like conflict. And this is what upset me myself. And come to think of it, yeah, LA, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. LA is just saying some of those scams are very creative. Easy way to check the email sender address. It won't be personal, it'll be from the company. Now, I will tell you, I've had some emails, and you look at them going, okay, this sounds serious. My first instinct is to take that cursor, take your mouse, run it over top of the cursor or over top of the email, and find out where it's sent from. I'll tell you if it's coming in and it's an email address with this many, like that's this long, with a whole pile of apparently random letters. It's a scam. Delete it immediately. Okay, it's just that simple. You know, the thing is, what we've got to do is realize there are a lot of scam artists out there. But here's the thing: I am a firm believer that 90 to 95% of people are decent people, really striving to do the best they can for their friends, for their family, and are not nasty people. The problem is that other 5 to 10% are problematic for everyone, and they don't pay any functional attention, it would seem, to the damage they're doing to everybody around them. You know, this is why it is so important. And I did it one day. I got a friendship request from somebody, and I didn't recognize it. But the thing that twigged it was they said they were a friend of somebody else. I happened to know the individual, so I asked her directly. And she says, "No, that's not a friend of mine." Well, right there, I sent out a message to the other people listed that were listed as friends and said, if this guy is telling you he's a friend of mine, he is not. Okay. What people are trying to do is get your information. Now, there is no question you can find anything about me you want to on the net, if you know where to look. Does this mean I'm going to hand it to you on an open platter? Not a prayer. And of course, there's some of you in there that may be looking at the messages now going, but you put your actual address in the chat room. I did. But the governments already know who I am. Okay. Corporations already know who I am. And like I said when I was posting it there, I happen to be in an apartment, which means I don't even have to open a box up. I don't even have to open the door to get a parcel. Okay. If I'm not there, the parcel will show up, and I'll either have to go down to Purelator to pick it up, or I'll have to open up a mailbox. And if it comes through Canada Post, it goes straight into a mailbox, into a big mailbox that is designed to handle parcels. This, for me, is a fantastic setup. Okay, but you have to remember, I know I've repeated this several times. You get an email, if you don't recognize it, and it's telling you, hit this link. Okay, I'm warning you, hitting the link is a bad idea on the whole. Okay, now, let me see here. I got that ISBN number. I got to finish sorting that out. So why don't we sort that out there? What is today? And by the way, guys, like I asked a little bit ago, but we've got more people in the chat room right now. In all fairness, we've got 12 in the chat room at this point. Now, there was a time when I was only having 2 or 3 people in the chat room. Okay. I look forward to the time now when that Dave got to with Spaced Out Radio. And I'm sure the World Bigfoot, BMR, and Nathan all have the same thing. I'm not sure if you do, Nikki. Okay. Where they have thousands of people, and where they've got hundreds of people anyway. Actually, in World's case, last I checked, was 2,200 plus. Okay. Not in the chat room all at once, but that are subscribed. Now, am I looking forward to having that happen? Yes. But my motivation is very simple. Okay. From my standpoint, I am simply going to be looking at things going, okay, let's see if we can get people excited. There's that unknown caller thing, and we just don't want to deal with that, so we ignore it. Remember what I said about unknown callers coming in? Let me see here. I'll check it out later. 811 23 something. See, I get a kick out of this. And of course, this is a 1-800 number. Now we find out who that is. 2323. I'll check that out later. But you'll notice that phone rang. Okay, came up unknown caller, so I didn't bother answering the thing. There are calls that will come in, and I will answer them. One of the biggest things that we have to remember is by working together, okay, we can turn this world around. I was asked the other day, okay, if mankind, if civilization is doomed. The answer is no, it isn't. Okay, but I do have a question for you guys. And I asked this earlier today. Do you guys have a topic? What I'm looking for is suggestions for my next stream, which will be tomorrow, assuming I don't get sidelined. Okay, and what I've decided, if I say the next one will be the next topic will be whatever. If I have to postpone it because something comes up, it will simply be moved. Everything will be moved a day down the road. That's to avoid a complication. Okay. Yeah, you noticed that too, Steve? And I didn't see it come in there, Steve, or were you in first? But no, Steve is just saying some days it seems like I get those calls all day. And I do. There are days where it's like you'll get 4 or 5 of them back to back. You pick up the phone, it's like, no, I don't want to talk to that. Okay, I just don't bother with them. The same as I don't bother with random emails. So, when somebody's reaching out, and especially, or more to the point, maybe not especially, but let's say you're trying to contact me through Facebook Messenger. When you reach out, be sure that the message you send out includes who you are and why, and where we connected. Okay. I don't need to know about the topic so much, although that sometimes helps. I had an email come in the other day from somebody. I didn't recognize it. But right in the subject. Okay, right in the subject title on the email they sent, they said, this is so-and-so, and, I'm trying to get a hold of you. Now, because I don't recall the person's name, I did respond to them, though. What it turns out is the books I've got are not available on the net, which they aren't. I got shafted by a company that was supposed to help me. They did not. They completely throttle-necked me. Okay. So, if you're looking for one of my books, it's actually very easy to get a hold of them. Okay. But it is done through this email address. Is the best way to get a hold of me. Okay, because it's the one I'm into on a regular basis. Now, of course that would happen. This is the easiest email because this is the one I'm into all the time. So if you are striving to get a hold of any one of the books that I've got, or you're striving to talk to me about going on to your channel for an interview or for a panel, all you got to do is let me know who you are. Okay, I am quite open to it in most cases, but I will tell you. Okay, and people have brought me onto a panel before. I don't stick around for heavy duty political interaction. What have we got here? What have we got here? Oh. LA Moon goes, they quit calling me. I guess they didn't want to talk about my fictitious grandchild, little Bobby. No, and you can have fun with some of the scam calls. Scam emails, not so much. But scam calls, if I'm in the right mood, I will absolutely talk to them for a little bit. For two reasons. One, I like annoying them on occasion. Okay, almost as much as I like confusing doctors. But, I turned around, and the reason I was, one of the reasons, absolutely there, Rob. All it requires is, like I said, drop me a line. We'll work out a schedule. By the way, for everybody out there, if you would be kind enough to literally just put on the time of day that your show goes. Now, did you invite him in for a kokanee there, World? World's just saying that he had a Bigfoot encounter. This ought to be entertaining. Rob, I have your YouTube channel listed here. What I don't have is the day and time that you run it. And if you'd be kind enough to post that, okay, then absolutely I will add it to my list. I'll add it to the list that I post with you. Okay, now the nice part, my last Bigfoot encounter, understand, the reason I don't have a lot of Bigfoot encounters is they don't come into my apartment. Okay, they really don't. So, my last one, I was still a tiny child. Oh, World, that makes it easy. World's just added that Bigfoot Michigan Rob is on 24/7 round the clock. There we go. And here is the one. I'm just grabbing this. Rob is on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern and Thursdays 1 p.m. Eastern. What I've done is grab that information, popped it in here, and gone, oh, I don't need that. No, I don't want that. Take that and remove the underline. And then we add this little piece of information. And now Bigfoot, this is what I meant by adding it. You'll copy that. We take this and we paste that there. And guys, there we have it. I'm not quite certain why that did that, but that's okay. And there we have the time and YouTube channel to go and listen to what Bigfoot has to say. And now I've got that actually on my file copy here. Let's see. Save as there. I've got a file here that I actually a Word file that I keep all of this recorded on. So all I have to do is open it up and then cut and paste or copy and paste. There. Great, glad to hear it there, Bigfoot. Yeah, it ought to be an interesting little conversation. I know, like I've listened to a number of your broadcasts, and they really are something to listen to. Now, let's face it, I am not some major bigwig at all, but at this point, maybe one day I will be. Will I ever see myself as a bigwig? No. I barely have enough of control over my own life, never mind somebody else's. But when we are looking at emails, when we're looking at internet safety, okay, one other little caution for you. Do not have the computer save your passwords. It may take you a little time, it may take you a little extra time to log into a given site. Okay. And if you've got a problem with memory like I do, okay, then you take one of these. Okay, I've actually got really good memory. Problem is, it's about that long. But I do, anytime some site says, do you want us to remember who you are? I look at them going, no, but thanks anyway. I literally go, never save my password. This is why I've got hard copy. Okay, and I got a bunch of things here that I gotta get rid of and what have you. But that's happening slowly. Well, that is very true, world. Mind you, if you look back at my videos from 2 years ago, my hair used to be all the way down to here. Okay. It used to come all the way down to about that length. As you can tell, it's a little shorter now. And like I've told my other half, I will keep removing this from time to time. But these are staying. I'm pretty certain that's simply an issue of I always remember my father having them until the last couple of weeks of his life. Okay. Prior to that, as far as I recall, he always had sideburns. Well, I shouldn't say always. There were a couple of times they got removed. But very rarely. Yeah, I used to, I don't have a problem with losing hair by any functional stretch. I think I'm the only one in the family that hasn't had that problem. I know 2 of my brothers are completely bald at this point. Of course, one's been buried for a decade and the other one's been buried for a year. So from what I gather, the hair falls out after you die. And since I haven't stayed dead that long lately, I'll have to take their word for it. But when you're looking at cybersecurity, I am not a security buff of any sort. Okay. I mean, heck, I can't pick a physical lock. I have trouble on occasion untying a knot in a rope. So I'm certainly not somebody that's going to be able to tell you, here's the best way to secure things. But I will tell you, you do not save your password anywhere on a computer. Okay. You don't bother ever, you never get a computer to save your password for you or your data. You do not ever hit hot links unless you know exactly where they're heading. Okay. If it's a questionable email, run your cursor over top of the email address that it's coming from. Okay, that says, here's an incoming email. Put your cursor over top of it. It'll show you the email address. And if it's anything other than a definitive company name, okay, and even then I question them, be aware it's likely a dangerous hot link. I've been debating that. I know I've ended up suffering from potassium crashes quite regularly and calcium hiccups. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my teeth repaired because, frankly, the doctors are, they want me in a hospital, and that simply isn't going to happen anytime soon. So if anybody comes up with an answer to that, that'd be great. So now what I'm working on now, okay, I've got a number of things, and by the way, one goal that I was planning on having completed by next Sunday, I've already racked off. I went to my other computer and pulled most of the backup software or backup files off of it. Anything that had to do with my writing or had to do with my finances got pulled off of what I'm now calling my gaming computer. Okay, so that I can actually work on this one with it. But understand, when we are now, some of the other things you may get a scam from. Okay. I got an email a while ago from the Royal Bank saying there is a problem with your account. Please log into this site to sort it out. Now, I immediately printed that email off and took it down to Royal. I took it down to the local branch. And I said, you guys have a problem. And they went, don't you mean you have a problem? I said, no, I mean you do. So I turned around and handed this email to the woman. And she goes, well, she says, this says you've got a problem with your account. How does that become our problem? I said, it becomes your problem because never in my life have I had an account with Royal, with Royal Bank. And that was the best I could do. Is, again, if you know of a problem, if you know there's a scam running around, be absolutely certain to let people know. But this does not mean forward that on that particular email anywhere. Okay. I do encourage you, when you get onto Facebook, LinkedIn, Telegram or Snapchat or any of these, if somebody approaches you and says, I'm a friend of so-and-so, you may consider this being a little paranoid, but I suggest that you do check with whoever they say they're friends to, make sure they're a friend. If they're a friend, then absolutely, at least you're on the right track. If they aren't, question whether or not to accept them in. Okay. Now, I'm working on a couple of things. Okay. Like most people, way too many on the go at a time. And this is something I'm actually working on paring down. It was brought to my attention this morning that I end up getting way too many things on the go, and that can create a problem. So I've started clearing things out. I've gone back to the idea of only 3 things on the list at a time. Now, while I've got you here, let's just take a look at this. No, that is not what I needed. I require... Oh, okay, fine, we'll do this. Go into a new tab, and we go, and all I do when I get an unknown number, one that doesn't make any sense, that I don't recognize, I just go into your browser, and just in the address bar, I simply type the actual phone number that is listed in. Now I just did. Oh. Okay, now this one. Okay. This one says it's a valid number. There are scammers that spoof the caller ID to show that number to try. Oh, okay. It is a valid number, but it's also saying be cautious, because this number that I've got right here that just came in on my phone, okay, is one, and if you're in Canada, this may matter. I don't know if it would be in Canada. It may be in the States. I don't know. But the number I got called from was 1-888-811-2323. Now, I looked it up on the internet here, and it says, yes, it is a valid number. Yes, there are scammers that spoof the caller ID data to show that number to try and trick people into giving their information. And again, this is why you take a look at that number, and I'm just going to post it there for you. If you're getting this, be aware this is a number to be cautious of. Okay, this is the one that just came to me. So if you get this number on your phone, be cautious of it. Okay, apparently it is a legitimate number, but there are people that can change that. JCL, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day has been going well. The reality is life is getting very hectic. With the advent of computers, things have picked up pace really badly. Okay. What do we got here? Yeah, I can relate to that. LA's just saying her memory is great as well. Just 2 seconds late on most things. As long as it's not 2 seconds late when you go to hit the brakes. Nice, JCL. JCL goes, I get better looking every day. That's why I like that song, Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble. So I don't even give it a try. No, that's not the way that goes. But it's the way I look at it. Years ago, I had a girlfriend that complained about her looks in the morning. I said, you think you got it bad? I said, I can't even see myself in the mirror first thing in the morning. And she looks at me and goes, why? What's wrong? Why can't you see your reflection? I said, I refuse to look in the mirror. From my standpoint, first rule of thumb, you have to be content with you in order to really start making headway being content with somebody else. Now, are there complications in everybody's life? Certainly. But there are a few people that I've met the both members of the family. And just a point in fact, LA, I've had to run my credit card up, but I'm working to pay it off because as soon as I've got the clearance for it, matter of fact, I might do it that way. As soon as I've got the money clear on it, I'll be buying a ticket to come down there just to annoy you for a few days. Unless, of course, you tell me otherwise. The reality is I don't travel a whole lot. So it becomes a little bit of an issue. But like I said, if somebody's putting on an event that they want me to come down to and speak at, I do much better when I'm actually working than if I'm just going to visit. That's just the reality of it. Now, what do I got here? I don't think I've got, no. Tomorrow, I do not have a topic for it yet. But it's one of those things I will have to deal with. And therefore, like I said, if you guys have an idea of something you want to discuss, absolutely pop it into the chat room and we will book it for ASAP. Right now, I don't have anything listed for tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. The other thing, and I'm just going to play off of JCL's little issue here of, he gets better. JCL goes, I get better looking every day. Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of emails, there's a lot of infomercials that say that you can, that they will do all sorts of things. You'll be able to improve your health. You'll be able to straighten and clean it, to repair your teeth. I'm telling you, and the reason I'm not going to tell you what the actual name is, one of them I don't recall, but I took one medication that was advertised over the internet that was supposed to strengthen my heart. Stop it from having arrhythmias and what have you. Now, I did the research. I looked at what they said. I checked into the rationality behind what they said. And then I bought it. Not a brilliant idea. It did absolutely. Yours too, Emmy. Emmy goes, my mind is like a steel trap. Rusty. Believe that was the name of the rooster on Friendly Giant when I was a kid. Now the thing is, I took this medication. The email, and the infomercial said it will do this. It'll stop your heart from having troubles. They should have left it with it'll stop your heart, because I tell you, I took it for 4 days and had a heart attack. Promptly threw the bottle out. There's a product on the market that claims to repair your teeth, no matter what kind of shape they're in. Now, I looked at the info again. Okay, did my own research on it. It looked solid. So I bought a 6-month supply. It did stabilize my teeth, but the damage to them, the repair to them that it claimed, didn't do a thing in 6 months. As a matter of fact, they deteriorated at about the same pace. It did stabilize them, which was definitely an improvement, but not enough of an improvement to warrant putting my health at risk on that anymore. Same idea when you look at an infomercial that says, oh, take this medication. You can drop 40 pounds in a month. Maybe you can, but think of it. If you're dropping that much weight in a month, all of that weight, all of that refuse has to go through your kidneys, your bowels, your urinary tract, your liver, the whole 9 yards has to get overtaxed. I'm thinking this is a bad idea. Okay. Now I am happy to let you know we've got 17 thumbs up in the room right now, which is absolutely fantastic from my standpoint. We've got 11 people that are visible in the room, and Lord knows how many are in the background listening. Somebody made a comment that, that the people in the background shouldn't just be sitting in the background, they should be participating. But I do know that is a tall order for a lot of people. Okay, the fact that the message is getting out at all, that we can turn this world around, that's the important thing from my end. You're always at work, Nathan. I'm absolutely certain of that. I think you get a day off once in a while, but I'm honestly not certain when that is. But I do know that, you pop in quite regularly. And like I said, from my standpoint, it doesn't bother me. Oh, look at that. I might have missed some people here. I wish I knew why this does it. It keeps swapping from live chat to top chat. Hey, Junior, how you doing? Glad you could join us. See, now, I don't weigh in on politics very much, but I will tell you this. Trump himself, regardless of what he's like as a person, okay, and I'm not talking about his personality or what his flaws are. What I look at with him is, given the options that were available, okay, the one thing you had to give Trump, not that he was a good businessman. From what I gather, he was bankrupt a number of times. But you got to give him credit for being a motivational speaker at the very least. He has accomplished a staggering amount of things. Okay. And finished off projects that other people couldn't finish off. Henry, glad you could join us. Presumably your day has gone well. That's probably a heavy-duty presumption, but what the heck? Yeah, Henry, that unfortunately does happen. Oh, but I'm glad that you're busy and not ill. Las Vegas, how you doing? And yeah, and I absolutely appreciate that there in Las Vegas. The funny thing about it is the world is a mess, absolutely. But I keep telling people it is not doomed. Okay. Yeah, rest assured. Yeah, Joe, trust you, Joe, to get one like that. Joe goes, I once got a scam likely called from Transylvania, Romania. Dracula. The number was totally off, but the voicemail was very cryptic. I deleted and blocked that one real fast. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, my life the last few weeks, last few months really, has been nuts. What with my job going belly up, like just vanishing in December, and then fighting to get my EI that I was legitimately owed, plus my son deciding he's moving home. Junior, that's terrible. Junior goes, I got scammed big time. I got married. See, now I got married it was literally a 30-second decision. Okay. When I got married, I was working for a local fair, right? And this young lass walks into the room, and I'm looking at my boss. So pretend I'm looking at you as my boss. I'm looking at my boss, and this young lass walks in over here. I'm like, we're talking away. I says, understand, Wendy was the name of one of the coworkers. Okay, but I was running second point, so I was actually working on scheduling and what have you. And I looked at my boss and went, so is Wendy coming in at 7 or 7:30? And I turned around, and this young lass walks in the door over here. And I looked at her and went, I'm going to marry her one day. It's way on. And my boss looks at me and goes, what did you just say? I said, is Wendy coming in at 7 or at 7:30? He goes, no, before that. I said, I'm going to marry her one day. Is Wendy coming in at 7 or 7:30? Can we stay focused? Right. So, of course, this young lass, her mouth hits the floor. Right. And my boss looks at us and goes, he looks at the two of us and goes, Keith, this is so-and-so, so-and-so, this is Keith. Okay. And, and then I ignored her for the next year and a half. Okay, a year and a half later, the two of us ended up dating. We dated for 2 years. Okay, I ended up married for 16. Okay, this was on a 30-second decision. Now, my current other half took me 3 days to confirm in my own head that this was absolutely who I was intending on marrying. Okay, but the nice part about it is when you work out the ratios, that means I should get about 1,000 years with the new one. Ultimately, yeah, it really was. No, didn't play just dating. The thing was, you gotta understand, Junior, in my case, once I had told the young lass that, or more to the point, told our mutual boss, I looked at it and went, I just answered the two questions that 90% of women want to know. Am I going to get married? And if so, to whom? Okay. And in her case, I'd answered both of those questions. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot more to that story, but the point being, I'd already answered the question, so I wasn't playing hard to get. I'd already done what needed to be done. Okay. But that was a straightforward, this is what's going to happen. Okay, with my current, it was literally a decision. This is what I desire to happen. Okay, and like I told her, and I've been told by some people, it's been this long and you haven't even physically met face to face. Walk away. She's not ready. I'm going like, not going to happen, because I'm done looking for people. I found what I'm looking for. Why carry on? And Adam is back safely back in Alberta. Oh, there you go. He's got about another 3.5 hours to get home. So I gotta ask, aside from being potentially dark out there, how's the weather been holding up for you? And I do mean that in regards to traffic as well. Oh, absolutely, Junior. Marriage can totally ruin a man's life if he makes a mistake in his choice. By the way, just to be clear, guys, a woman can have exactly the same problem. Okay. And it is imperative that we take a look at that. Just like email can be scam, so it can be a scam email or a scam phone call. Watch the people that you're dealing with. And this is probably something we should look at, because there's a staggering number of you out there that have lost it. That's a little warm. Yeah. Adam's just going, It was 40 degrees Celsius in Regina, which, by the way, makes it about 112 in 112 Fahrenheit. Okay, because the short way, the real quick way to calculate for you guys in the States or in Canada, okay, the quick calculation, take whatever the Celsius degree is, double it, and add 32. If you're going from Fahrenheit back to Celsius, you subtract 32 and divide by 2. And that will give you a ballpark idea of what the actual temperature is. Okay, that'll give you the best way of looking at it, roughly speaking. But no, there's a staggering number of you guys and gals that are out there that have lost faith in relationships because you've been burnt so badly. Okay, and that is something we got to take a look at. Ouch. Yeah, that is not going to be fun. LA is just going, it's 90 here. It'll be hundreds next week in Fahrenheit. And I mean, I'm expecting at some point this summer to get upwards of 120, 125 up your end of the world. Or down your end of the world, depending on how you look at it. But what we have to realize, is that marriage is the number one cause of divorce in the world. Well, at least you won't have a water shortage if it's early monsoon season. But no, I take a look at the whole thing regarding dating. Okay. And absolutely take your time with it. Now, I will tell you something. This goes completely off of what we're talking about. Yeah, I do agree with you on the hopefully not there, LA. This is just a suggestion. I'm not betting on it working that well for you. But when you're getting into a relationship, I will tell you this, and this is based on having over 100,000 clients under my belt over the last 50 years. Okay, if you really desire a relationship to work with somebody, stay out of the bedroom in any facsimile thereof. Now, this doesn't mean no kissing. This just means do not crawl into bed for the first 2 to 3 months, given that you're seeing the person face to face 3 to 4 times a week. If you hold off on that, you will find you have a much higher rate of success with the relationship. Well, I appreciate the confirmation there, JCL. I came through school at the time that the transitions were being done. And, I looked at it and went, and I couldn't remember whether it was time and divide by 5 times by 9 or vice versa, which is probably what we're looking at here. So what do we do here? 68 times 9 equals divided by 5 equals, well, that did not work. 68 times 9 equals that. Divide by 5 equals, nope, that's the other way around. So we go 68 divided by 5 equals times 9. Well, that goes to show my math is working poorly. Anyway, what we have to look at where it comes to, what do we got just wandering in here? 223, how you doing? Glad you could join us. There are so many people that get caught up in a relationship. And the reason I say stay out of the bedroom or any facsimile thereof, needless to say, you don't have to crawl into bed to play around. But, okay, what is very important is if you can avoid getting into that situation for the first at least 2, preferably 3 months, given that you're seeing the person 3 to 4 times a week, your chance of the relationship working are a lot higher. This is based on over 100,000 clients of my own, of which 65 to 70% of them were relationship based. Because I will tell you, once you crawl into bed with somebody, the odds are that both of you are going to be more interested in the feeling than you are in the actual building of the relationship. And yes, I have talked to people saying that have told me, no, that'll never happen to me. I mean, I have one client that came to me, and she had just met her other half. And a month after they met, they got married. Now, here's the comment they got and that they gave me. I says, why get married that fast? Right. And her answer was, well, we thought we'd try it out. So let me ask you this. Do you think that marriage worked? I mean, I look at the situation going, like, for me, marriage is an important factor. It is literally an issue of tying things off. It's got nothing to do with commitment. Because I will tell you, it doesn't matter how much of a commitment you have. Okay. It doesn't matter what the paperwork is. All the paperwork in the world will not alter the connection. It doesn't do a thing for the commitment levels. Okay. And it's the same thing when we're taking a look at these scam emails. Okay. The email may be written in the most fascinating way possible. This doesn't make it a good idea to hit a hot link. Okay. Hot links are absolutely disastrous. You do realize the world just goes, I've managed to stay successfully single so far. That was the one thing that my eldest brother actually complained about. He said his one regret in life was that he was a genetic dead end. Okay, because he never did end up attached. I think he was attached for a few months at one point, but it didn't work out. A lot of that had to do with the level of his IQ, which, in all fairness, world may well be part of your problem of finding somebody that can connect. Is if your brain is working too fast, most people will have trouble with it. And that's not meant as an insult by any functional stretch. I take a look at this world and go, there is one reason. My dad used to say, even with people that were fighting all the time, and my mom and dad never fought, but my dad would always say when he saw a couple that were always fighting, his comment would be, well, at least it's only one couple that's miserable. In my case, it really boils down to so world, you film monsters for a hobby. Okay. Does this mean you go down to Wall Street and down to the big business section and start filming some of the multimillionaires that are doing such incredibly bizarre things regarding how they treat people? Or do you go out into the bush and try and film things like, well, on my end of the world, it'd be Ogopogo. In your case, I'm guessing we're referring to probably Bigfoot. And by the way, people, in my experience, Bigfoot is one of the gentlest people out there. Absolutely gentle. Okay, powerful, but extremely gentle. Yeah, Joe goes, I still won't use Facebook dating or any dating app. I've watched videos on Facebook and YouTube, and the horror stories. Absolutely. Yeah, world goes, no, I film Bigfoot and Dogman, but people think they are the monsters. Honestly, JCL, humans are a fascinating race. The one thing that you got to give humans credit for, they can take an absolutely logical course of action, totally throw it away, go the completely other direction, and still land on their feet. Okay, but humans have a curiosity streak that is the envy of a lot of races. Like the races will look at a human and go, a member of another race will go, well, why are you looking into that? And the human usually looks at him and goes, well, seemed like the thing to do at the time. Yeah. LA goes, my son has tried to date that way. Ends up a horrible mess. He gave it up. He lets real women tell him no now. I've done it both directions. But, the reality of it is that face to face, even with online dating, you got to remember, you got to meet the person before you make any commitment. Okay. Now, I happen to have a slightly different outlook on things for me personally, and here's why. Okay. In my case, I have that neat little ability of being able to tell whether it's going to work. As a matter of fact, in both my relationships, and like my marriage itself, I was hoping it was going to run the distance, but all I had gotten told was that I was getting married, not that it would last. Okay. The two women I dated after my marriage ended, the two long-term women I dated, okay. The first one, when I met her, I told her flat out, our relationship is going to end because of money. I didn't have a whole lot. I still don't. Right. She assured me it wouldn't. In the end, it did. Okay. There were other things as well. Okay. And then the other one, I told her I was going to scare her, and she was going to experience something that would scare the daylights out of her. Well, the thing she experienced was me being returned. Okay, after an abduction. The first night she stayed over, I ended up getting dropped from the ceiling. Okay. And they weren't even nice enough to drop me from the ceiling and have me land on the bed. They missed the bed, or mostly missed the bed. Right. Scared the daylights out of my other half. And, she tried to work through it. But there were constant reminders that was going to happen. And eventually she gave up on it. This one I'm with right now, it's pretty cut and dried. It wasn't I was told that we will get married. It was I took one look at her and went, that's the one I desire to spend the rest of my life with. And since I haven't been told it won't work, I'm not looking anymore. And yet I still get people sending me emails, sending me connections on, of all things, LinkedIn, looking to get to know me better. I'm like, no, this is not a dating app. As far as I know, I'm not on any dating apps. And if I am, I haven't been on them in years. Because I don't know, I found out this funny little thing. I found what I'm looking for. Okay. And therefore, I don't see the point in looking any further. Gee, I can understand that all too well, LA. LA goes, seriously, he is so sick of people trying to use him. He's pretty well done with them. No, world, it's not supposed to be. LinkedIn is great for business. I've got a lot of business connections. I really don't know how many, but now I'm curious. Let us take a look at LinkedIn and see what I've got. I go into LinkedIn here, and yeah, I thought so. On LinkedIn, I've got 2,571 connections. Okay, so from that standpoint, I look at it, it's not a dating site, but you do end up with the occasional one that tries. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one. Oh, okay. Where are we? Oh, I gotta go back up and find out. Race, there we go. There we are. This is just one of those things I kind of have to answer. There we go. That was somebody wrote me the other day. And I sort of had to respond to that because here I am, I pop my nose into LinkedIn. Somebody has sent me an email. Apparently, ordering my books online is a problem. So he goes, I'd like to get a copy of Races of the Worlds. Right, but he says I can't get it online apparently. So he asked if he could get it through me. And so I just wrote him back and went, yeah, the price for Races of the Worlds. And there's an interesting little bonus here. You know, but the price for this right now, okay, this is what he was asking for. Okay, that's $30 Canadian. Okay, so I just sent the response to him to to let him know. And with that in mind, if it comes in tonight, it'll go out within the next day or two, as soon as I leave the house again. Which, by the way, is getting less and less frequent. Oh, what have we got here? Let's go back to this. We close that window. And World goes, Facebook banned me 4 years ago. Now, what could you have possibly done that got you banned from Facebook? Yeah, and yes, I did. I did actually read the way you actually wrote that, World. I just decided I wasn't going to repeat it quite as it was. But the important factor from my standpoint, okay, where it comes to scamming and what have you, this is why I say when you're dealing with people, treat people the way you desire to be treated. Hopefully I do not pronounce this wrong, but I believe that name is pronounced Cowie. Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us there, Cowie. The when we're talking about email, when we're talking about business transactions, contracts, all of it, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. World goes, I didn't do anything. No community strikes or guideline strikes. Well, that's just annoying. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. The only thing, as you know, World, the only thing I do, okay, the only thing I don't do, more to the point, is I will not interact. I made the mistake of making comment regarding the pandemic at one point, and to me it was an innocent enough comment. I'm not even entirely certain what it was, but when I made it, I got a slap on the wrist. They said, "Look, this is your first offense, so we're not doing anything. It's just a warning." Right. And since then it's been, no, I'm not touching the global political arena or the global medical one. I've got my own opinion on them. And absolutely, if somebody wants to ask my opinion on their channel, I don't have a problem with it. Okay. But there are certain topics I will not tangle with on this one because, quite frankly, I don't feel like getting it banned because of my own problem. And somebody mentioned yesterday when this guy came in and kept posting links. Okay, somebody in the chat room piped up and said, "Look, an unauthorized posting of links like that can have a black mark on the YouTube algorithm." Right. That's what prompted me to turn around and go, no, I'm just going to block the person out because they weren't listening anyway. I hate having to do that. Okay. Adam, in person, it basically boils down to the same thing. If you're dealing with somebody in person, be honest with them. Come right out, like when my other half, and she's the one that approached me about my current relationship. When she approached me and asked if I thought we could work out, I came right out at the top of the run and went, look, there's two things you gotta know. One, I'm not moving. Period. It's just not negotiable. Okay. And two, I've got a 15-year-old son at home with mild CP. And if he never moves out, that's the way it is. Well, it took her about 30 seconds to go, I can work with it. 3 days later, we made it official between us. No, we are not married. Quite frankly, thus far, I've never physically seen her face to face yet. Seen her a lot on video. Okay. The funny part with her is that I can see her fine. She will, in all likelihood, never see me. Oh, Adam. Adam goes, oh, I meant hearing your opinions on world politics and medical issues. Oh, I got no problem. In person, I will quite readily tell you exactly what I think about politics. I'm still not likely to do a whole lot in the way of name dropping, primarily because I don't remember names half the time. But as far as my opinion on world politics, on medical issues, sitting across the table from me, like you were talking about connecting later, sometime later this summer, I have no problem stating my opinion. I won't guarantee it agrees with yours, but I will be polite about it. Okay. The only thing that I've ever found that really gets me annoyed face to face is if somebody turns around and says, your opinion is wrong. Do understand, nobody's opinion can be wrong. The information you're drawing your opinion from absolutely can be wrong. Okay. But do I have, shall we say, rather poignant views on religion, on politics, on society, the education system, the whole 9 yards? Oh, yeah, definitely. And I have absolutely been known to put my foot in my mouth. Okay. That's just the way that is. Oh, Derek's just going, Super Duke, did you hear about this yesterday in the ufology world? It was everywhere. Now, I'm presuming Derek's going to fill us in on the brief part of that. But knowing world, the odds are he was right on top of it. I don't know if that's world. But I do know that both world and Shadow, I think Shadow might be Duke. I don't know, I get them lost. But the important factor when you're dealing with people, Cowie, in all fairness, AI is a disaster waiting to happen. Okay. AI is great. I mean, you take a look at it. We have these things. Now, these are smart little machines. But the moment you start taking something that is artificial intelligence and does not have a proper emotional statement, okay, where they don't have proper emotional filters, it's going to be a problem. A computer solution to starvation is simple. You wipe out however many people are, like, for instance, you've got an area where famine is rampant. You turn the solution of that over to a computer, to an AI. Here's how it plays out. You've got a chunk of property. You know it will support 10,000 people comfortably right now. Okay, but you've got 100,000 people living there. An AI will look at that and go, problem solved. Kill 90,000 people, ship them off, and you can support the rest. It will not think about how much money you make, who you worship, what kind of skills you have, or anything, or who you're crawling into bed with, amongst other things. An AI will simply go wholesale, start on one end and wipe out 90,000 people and leave the other 10,000 alive. Okay, this is just a simple solution. They won't look for the best socially acceptable one. This is, the other thing is, you turn AIs loose in a world that is so violent, with so many creative ways of killing each other, they won't worry. If they decide they're going to war, the logical solution to eliminate war is to wipe out the population, not wipe out that country. Okay, I heard about it in one case where, and granted, this was actually in a different. Well, no, I'm going to go the other route. There was a case that was listed in the Chicago Tribune. Okay, where this is a few years back, where it said the headline was 2 shot dead after police respond to a domestic dispute. Now, that's the solution AI comes up with too. You're both fighting, shoot them both, fight's over. There is no complication anymore. Okay, that's not a problem there, Derek. I don't know the way the Western Union works. I do know, however that works, Western Union, there is an office in Kelowna here I can get to. That's the best I can tell you, but I got no idea how any of that works. But, Derek, curiosity. I haven't checked my email, but do you have my, well, I know you've got my email address. Drop me an email line and we'll connect that way and see what we can pull off. We may be able to work it out that way. But like I said, Western Union I can use no problem. There is a Western Union outlet here. At least one, maybe a couple more. I just have no idea how the process works, other than somehow you got to get it to me. But you've got the mailing address at this point. So that is a way that will work. And rest assured, I'm not running low on the books. Actually, I'm going to end up ordering, well, in the very near future here, I will end up ordering more books because I've got every one of the titles that I've got. And as a matter of fact, if you're looking for those of you that are in the chat room, this website here actually lists all the books I've got in print already. But apparently trying to order them through there isn't working, which doesn't surprise me. That was set up by another company that claimed they would do what they were supposed to and did not, which is obvious by the fact that people aren't able to order. Gives you an idea why I'm not overly impressed with technology. But AI itself is a disaster. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Years ago, when the movie Lord of the Rings came out, okay, there was a neat scene there that says it all. Okay, and they did a beautiful job, so I know they can make AI work. But there was a scene where there was a massive orcs at the bottom of the hill, and then the Rohirrim were coming over the hilltop on horseback, racing down. About 130,000 from what I gathered, Derek. Derek was just asking how many people live in my community. Well, it depends on the size of the community. If we talk about the community, there's about 150, and well, we've got about 150 apartments. So we're probably looking at around 300 people in my immediate community, but in the city, there's about 130,000. But when they programmed it and they had 8 actors dressed as orcs that were doing the normal chant and yelling thing. But when they cut the AI loose, because they programmed the orcs to respond as they would were they being raced down, were they being chased down by the Rohirrim. Well, they had these thousands of orcs painted in the background. All of them turned around and left. So they had to downplay the AI. But humans are trying to build computers that will do everything a human can. The last time I saw this done, which was centuries back on another planet, what you ended up with was computers able to do everything and humans not able to do much of anything. Okay, now we're all, people talk about the attack of the zombies. Well, this is the zombie apocalypse. This is, in my opinion, the government chipping everybody. Okay, it's not subdermal, but it does track where you are. And yes, you can call this paranoia if you want. If your phone has a camera, which 90% of them do, it is being used to track what's going on as well. And yes, you can call that paranoia. Okay, and in about 20 to 30 years at the latest, you'll find out it wasn't exactly paranoia we were talking about. Okay, now, again, real big caution where it comes to email. If you don't recognize the email, okay, do not hit whatever you do. Do not hit do not hit any hot link. Okay, if you don't recognize it, do not hit the hot link. Okay, Cowie. Yeah, Cowie. This is actually a really good topic, and thereby, and because we're right at the end here, okay, but quantum computers in our future, Cowie has said, is quantum computers in our future? And the answer is yes. There is no doubt there at all. But, and this one I am absolutely certain that Nathan is going to want to get in on. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we are going to take a look at the evolution of quantum computers and their descendants. And we will do that tomorrow. Tonight we're hitting the 2-hour mark, which, as you may be able to tell from my throat, is starting to log up. LA is just saying, I call paranoia another word for longevity, which is not a bad way of looking at it. I did not write that down, but I fill that in. But that being said, guys, thanks so much for sharing your time with me. Really do appreciate it. Absolutely I do. I will talk to you again tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.